Welcome to the Smiling Suffer podcast. On the mic, you have Corey. And today in the studio with me is Danny.
Hi.
AKA Danny. She doesn't have an AKA, sorry.
Not yet.
Danny's the only one in the studio with me today because everyone's running late. Even though this is our final episode of the year. But shit happens. It's raining outside. There's a lot of traffic. And I guess they'll get here when they get here.
Right.
But, Danny, how's it going today?
It's going well.
It is?
It
I
is.
see you got your little coffee, your little Starbucks.
I have my Starbucks. It gives me the energy that I need to keep going after 4 o'clock.
How was your weekend?
My weekend actually was pretty good.
It was?
Trying to think what did I do? I did a lot of exploring of the city, little areas that I haven't been to in Baltimore yet. Well,
really?
Yeah, I thought I had been everywhere.
Like where?
So there's a little area outside of Hampton, and
For those that don't know, Hampton is like this. It's like kind of like a bougie area, isn't it?
it's not bougie to me. To me, it's more like a hipster's dream.
Aha, hipster.
That's what it is. It's definitely like a
Hipster.
hipster's dream. And I don't know the name of this area, but it's outside of it, and there's just a bunch of warehouses. And they have shops, really expensive, overpriced restaurants.
Really?
And it was just a great time just exploring. I took pictures. I did everything. And it was raining on Saturday
It was.
for most of the day.
It was. I had to drive to Jersey.
Oh.
For a 60th birthday brunch.
Okay.
Long drive. I went with my fiance and her family. And I had to drive back, and it was just a long drive.
Isn't it about 3 hours? Or they're a different part of Jersey?
It was. You know the part of Jersey where you can see New York from?
Yes.
I think it's like right by the Hudson River.
Well, like I know like that border.
Yes.
Yeah.
They call it like it's the Hudson River. You could literally just see. That was where I was. So it took us like 4 hours.
Okay. Did you have a good time?
I did. Actually, it was actually worth the trip. It was nice bonding with my fiance's family.
Oh, good.
And yeah, everyone's personalities just come out. And but let's get to the topics of today, man. So recently, this artist called Juice WRLD, for those that don't know, he's a rapper. He recently died. I'm going to play a clip of one of his songs. I think it's, you know the one I'm talking about, the most popular one?
Which one is the most popular one? Because I love Juice WRLD. Actually, I was going to pull it up. The one that is my favorite because I'm bad with names.
Oh, is this your favorite?
Let me see.
This is the one that he
Is that
broke
Lucid?
out with.
Is that Lucid Dreams?
Lucid
yeah.
Dreams.
I like Lucid Dreams, but I also like Armed and Dangerous and Hear Me Calling.
I think I remember Okay, this is Armed and Dangerous. Yeah, I like this one. I like this one. This is a nice track. But yeah, young dude. He was how old? 21.
21.
21.
His birthday just passed. He just turned 21.
Yeah, he hails from Chicago.
Yeah.
He was one of those rappers. I think he used to hang out with them Chief. Well, he wasn't really. He didn't come up with Chief Keef.
I don't think so. Did he?
Yeah, I'm not sure. You know,
Okay.
I don't want to mislead our listeners, but he came out of Chicago. He was one of these. They used to call them mumble rappers.
Right.
But he could actually spit.
Correct.
Yeah, he was a rapper.
Right.
And he did the whole emo heartbroken thing.
Which is popular right now.
It is. It's like.
I heard a good. Go ahead. Sorry.
You heard a good one.
I heard of a good artist over the weekend. His name is Tokyo.
Made it.
That's something he does like a rock rap.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Wait, is he made in Tokyo?
No.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I think our other co-hosts are here. So, Danny's probably gonna have to go get them. But it should be open though. The door should be open. The one downstairs. It's not. Don't worry, you can go get them.
Oh no, he's not here yet.
He's not.
What's the address?
101 West 22nd. Ooh, I probably shouldn't have said that on the mic. I'm gonna cut this out anyway. 101 West 22nd Street. Got it? Yeah, and the door should be open. Oh yeah. So you're talking about an artist named. Wait, are you talking about Made in Tokyo?
No, his name is Tokyo's Revenge. I had to pull it up, and
Okay.
he has a song out called "Good Morning Tokyo," and it's really similar to that.
Very
Not
similar.
to negate from Juice World, but
Yeah.
just to state that is it's a new
Yeah, it's
grungy type of rap that's out, and he's similar to that.
Yes, it has a very very strong grunge influence. They talk about, but they also talk about drugs too, in their raps a lot about using drugs.
Right, and Juice WRLD was actually, to me, he was a bleeding heart. So he talked about love, relationships, mostly lost love or being completely engulfed in it.
Yeah.
And he also talked about drug usage,
Yeah,
which
he did.
is ultimately how he passed away.
Which is so. Can you break down what happened?
So the story that I read is that Juice WRLD tried to take a private plane. Once the pilot found out that they had drugs, they had to go over to a domestic flight. They transferred over to domestic flight.
Oh, so that's what happened.
Right. And so, of course, the news reported that they had 70 pounds of weed, but also what he actually had on his persons was it was some sort of pills. I don't remember if it was ecstasy or not. So once the plane landed,
So they were on a commercial flight.
they were on a commercial flight. I said domestic, but commercial flight. They're on a commercial flight.
But was it a commercial flight with other people? Because I thought it was a private jet the whole time.
I thought that I read that the private jet rejected them. They moved to a commercial flight.
Oh.
Once they landed, the feds were there.
But how did they get on the flight with 70 pounds of weed?
Well, I don't think they check your bags. When you check them when you put them under the cart, do they check them? Because people carry guns and everything else.
Yeah, and they had guns too, apparently.
Yeah, they had guns. So I don't think that people check your baggage. Maybe they do, but I don't know.
This whole time I thought it was the private jet that got stopped. But I know the pilot of the private jet company was the one that reported it, right?
Correct.
He snitched on him.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
So he snitched on them. When the plane that they actually ended up taking arrived, the story that I read was that the feds were already there.
Yes.
So they got scared. So he got scared. He decided to swallow the pills that he had.
A bunch of pills.
And so he had a seizure. Blood was coming out of his mouth. They had, called the ambulance and everything. And ultimately, he passed away because he had an overdose.
Yeah. Do you think he swallowed the pills because there are two schools of thought? It could have been that he knew that he was going to get arrested and he didn't want those pills to go to waste. And I'm not saying he was a junkie, but if he was a junkie, he did what a junkie would do and he swallowed all the pills. Or was it that he was scared of getting caught with the pills? I mean, just the idea of taking pills and then throwing it in your mouth, it seems very, very odd. And
so this is my thought process on it. He is a star who's right now he was at a very good place in the game. So even if he got arrested with all of this, I believe that his record label or someone would have come through to get him off.
Lawyers would have gotten him off easily.
So what I think, because even if you remember reading it, his friends that were with him as his associates, because they weren't his friends, if they let him swallow those pills, they already were out before the story hit. Yeah. So I think what happened is that he was already under the influence. He had negative people probably around him, and I don't know if they stopped him or not. No one has talked about it, of course, because it's probably an active open case. But he swallowed them probably because he was already under influence. So his mind wasn't in the right state of mind.
If he was under the influence, then he could have done anything. He could have jumped. Anything could have happened in that state of panic.
Right.
That's really sad, though.
And it's unfortunate because, I can remember 21 and just being silly.
Yeah.
And doing stupid things and knowing that this doesn't.
Nah.
Well, no, but I just know that the adventurous side of me and the risky side of me, especially at 21, probably would have had me do something just as dumb, right?
Yeah.
Because you're worried about getting in trouble. You don't even think about the fact that you're a celebrity and that you have all this power. Yeah. Your main thing is, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to embarrass my mother. I don't want these things. So I can see that, this is just a poor decision he made, but it's a lesson.
Yeah, it is.
For all these other rappers, up and coming rappers, drugs, it can kill you.
It can. Well, I'm curious. What do you think about some people say the glorification of drug use in rap. What do you think about that whole thing?
I think that rap is an art form, and I don't believe that all these artists are actually doing as much drugs as they say. That's my thought process on it. I think that they glorify because it makes them look like they're hard, just like they glorify being in gangs and carrying around guns. And some of them, yeah, they do actually partake in it, but I believe it's the wrong message to send, especially if you're not really doing it. Yeah. Because I feel like more people should have OD'd now at this point. The way they talk about drugs, they're like, I'm sipping scissor and I'm popping black ecstasy. Like, you should be dead.
You think? I think you're right. I do think that they do exaggerate to an extent. But where I have reservations is they're exaggerating it, and you're right. Some of them are probably not even doing it. I think even Future recently came out talking about he actually doesn't do these drugs anymore. Yeah. Did you hear about that? He came out, Future, the rapper.
And you can look at people too. Like, he doesn't even look like he's really doing this.
But the thing is, though, is they're kids that listen to them.
Right.
So I think that's where it becomes like, okay, if you're not doing it and you're rapping about it and you're glorifying it and you're making it seem cool, impressionable kids are most likely to do the same thing and use those drugs.
Right.
And that could start like this chain effect of kids ODing. And I think that's where I'm just like, and I'm not going to consider myself like a hip hop head or anything, but I do feel like the hip hop heads out there, the hip hop curators, the hip hop influencers, all these people, I do think that there would be some good if they at least try to shine the light on the dark side of drug use.
Yeah, I think it would be beneficial, but I don't think that's the cool thing to do. And I don't think when you're being managed by a label, the label wants you to create these type of lyrics because they know that's what's going to sell. That's true. People don't really see that this is detrimental to your community. And they don't care about that because at the end of the day, their family is good. Yeah. Their kids aren't going to poor schools. Yeah. They live in mansions. They don't care and that's kind of like to me, it's one of those selling your soul aspects, right? So, I think we won't be able to sing the type of, rap or whatever type of music that we want until we start creating our own spaces where we can, and this is for across the board, not even the racial things, like creating your own space so that you can say what you want.
Let me ask you something though. Do you think as fans, do you think we also have a responsibility not to, I guess, elevate certain art forms that promote drug use? Do you think we have that responsibility? Because when you really look at music, there's always been drugs in music from time.
Right.
Always.
And I say it's not necessarily my responsibility to do that. I mean, I guess in a sense where I can censor within my own home, maybe. Yeah. So then that's my responsibility because the people that are around me are either the people that I'm rearing or the people that are looking up to me. So yeah, in that sense, yes. But overall, no. I mean, we consume the music. We can take it for what it is. It's just an art form. It's just for fun. And you shouldn't be taking it seriously. But of course, we know people do. Yeah,
people do take it seriously. I don't know. I'm still torn, and the same thing goes even with like glorification of gang violence and all that. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I listen to that music. Sometimes it can be motivational in other ways. Of course, I'm not relating it to it like I can relate to the things they say, but it's the mood behind it. It's knowing some of the struggles that they go through, and I can relate to certain aspects of overcoming adversity, and that's what they rap about sometimes. Now they might rap about it in the context of gang culture, but I can still, like Young Jeezy, for instance, like that was like my mood. Like before I even went for interviews, I'll put on Jeezy, and he's talking about slinging white and all that stuff.
Right, because Dipset was my group. That was because they talked about gangs and they talked about being hard and they talked about taking what you want. And I liked it. And so, but that's the thing. So you're telling me that you have extracted the real meaning behind it and left the garbage to where it is.
No, I think it's not that I've extracted the real meaning. No, it's more so I have taken the meaning that I've chosen to take behind it.
Okay.
And I've chosen to kind of, I guess, sanitize it for my own purpose, which is kind of selfish, but I mean, it is just what it is.
But
right?
no, and I think most people probably do that subconsciously. They don't even realize that they're doing it.
Yeah.
But I guess the question still is, how do you relay that message to the youth?
That's the question.
Especially because the age that when they're starting to actually even do drugs, probably like high school, middle school, whatever, they don't understand that this doesn't make you cool.
No, it doesn't.
You being a pothead, a cokehead, that's not cool.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And
in 10 years from now, those people that are around you are going to be looking at you like you're crazy.
And it's funny how there's something about, I don't know what it is about, they say lean and the Percocets. Mm-hmm. For some reason, rappers that do it tend to have seizures. What's that? What's that about?
I don't know. I just think they're overdosing. I think if you really want to get into promethazine and lean and all the other backdoor ways that these people are getting it, there is a documentary on YouTube that's done by Vice.
Okay.
And I think it gives you a good overview of why are people into this? What does it mean?
And I heard it's highly addictive too.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried it?
No. No.
I've always told myself that I would always try something at least once. That I don't think I would, just because of, I probably should stop talking now.
Right. Like,
I probably should stop talking now. No. But nah. Kids, don't do drugs. That's the lesson I'm trying to.
Don't do drugs.
I'm trying to put out here. But may Juice WRLD so rest in peace. I think it's unfortunate. The lady of Anne Arundel just walked
Howard
in.
County.
The lady of Howard just walked in. And Mr. G Wagon too just walked in.
AKA Uber.
We were just talking about Juice WRLD, and we're talking about drugs in hip hop. We're talking about the message of drug use, and how basically we're just trying to figure out how do you strike a balance in terms of, from a fan's perspective, right? We listen to these guys.
Right.
We listen to them. We bump them. We know they're talking about drug use.
Right.
But then when they OD or some shit happens, we're like, oh man, drug use this, drug use that, and it's like, aren't we also contributing to an extent? You see that, and that was what Ashley said. Ashley said she doesn't feel any responsibility.
Dude.
She's
Right,
like,
I
fuck it,
don't.
make it all die. No, she
I
didn't
mean,
say that. She didn't
I was
say
gonna
that.
say, geez, but I don't think
No.
I don't feel any responsibility.
None at
Bro,
all.
I'm gonna be in my car singing Percocet, but
Molly Percocet,
I'm never gonna
but-
pop Molly. Do you
Right,
understand?
exactly.
So I'm too
And-
sane to know the difference between singing a song and
But
enjoying the lyrics.
a lot of them sing, but they don't actually do the drugs.
And that's-
Wasn't Future one of the people that after quitting
That was
lean
I-
or whatever,
That's what I brought up.
then
And that was
hasn't
my point.
Right.
I don't believe that half of them are doing the drugs.
I don't
that they
believe
say.
that either. A lot of them are not even gangsters either.
But-
Because I
but-
think
They would
about
be
it.
dead.
But the
Right,
question
If you're
is,
really doing drugs
but
like that,
then-
you would be dead.
actually,
but then shouldn't we call them out for talking about things that
Some
they're not
people
doing,
do now.
knowing
Yeah, people
fully
do call
well
them
that
out.
the kids,
Some people do.
knowing fully well that
But-
that impressionable kids can pick these
But
things up.
I don't feel like it
actually,
should let
let's
celebrities be
they-
a
they-
role
they
model to
take-
your kids.
I think they do, take drugs. I think
I mean,
the
some do.
kids, and I'm good, the younger ones, because they're the ones dying of
Well, true.
OD.
That's true.
The Future and the likes only sing about it.
Right.
You
'Cause
know,
I feel like right.
But
It
this
depends on what
younger
age you break
guys
into the
and
system,
the
I
genre
guess.
they have, Juice WRLD sings. The song he had with on Travis' album is about drugs. Almost all his songs about drugs.
A lot of his
Well,
songs,
I like Juice
fortunately-
WRLD a
drugs,
lot.
and I like him
You
too.
know, like I
drugs
was
and
very sad
heartbreak
when I heard it. Yeah, but
and love and being
some of these
depressed.
things, that's their reality. for some
Right,
of them.
right. And I feel like there's a bigger issue. Why are they all resorting to drugs? I feel like they're all self-medicating because of underlying problems. They are not being treated. Mental health
Or-
issue
Yeah, and I agree
is
with
a
that.
big
That's
thing.
definitely
But I also
because they mask
think-
all their pain.
Yeah, but I
Right,
also think
exactly.
mental health sometimes is forced on people. I feel like some people nothing really is wrong with you, but
You just want to do drugs?
people make you think there's something wrong with you, and
I
society,
don't.
You mean like
agree with that.
society?
society makes
Or-
you think,
okay.
like there's something wrong with you, you have a problem, and you know,
or you just haven't come to terms with the problem.
But you're still running to drugs to
right.
mask the problem.
Yeah,
If that's
you're
the case.
masking problems.
which because they told you that's the way to do it, and you're not too smart enough to know.
Well, I guess that's true because even if you go to a therapist, they might give you Ritalin or
Yeah.
something like
I
that,
mean,
and telling you
too,
that
yeah,
you
and
need to balance your equilibrium,
You
all
can,
that type
you
of
can
stuff.
OD, anything in medical field, you can OD. After my knee surgery, I knew how much I was popping painkillers.
But
painkillers, you know.
I'm actually in that field right now. They're actually
Yeah.
bringing back. We're cutting back on how much we're prescribing medications to people.
And they give you a lot.
They not anymore.
Well,
now
no,
they
yeah,
make
but
you
then they give you a lot.
like you have to do every step before you get to the high potent stuff.
Like my stash lasted like a year after my surgery.
Right, and they don't do that anymore. Before one little toothache, they give you Percocet. One little thing, not anymore. They've cracked down on that a lot. Even pharmacists are starting to cutting back. If your doctor writes you 30 pills, they give you CVS only gives you like 10 or 20.
Yeah, that's good.
They're cutting back a lot, which I mean depends on. Yeah. There's I guess.
But you know what? It's good. It's
and
good
I see
because
that too. Because even when I tried to buy cough medicine the other day,
Yeah.
I had to have my driver's license.
Oh yeah.
no, it makes sense
yeah.
because the society we live. I never thought. I mean, I wasn't an addict, but I never thought I would be hooked on painkillers ever in my life.
Right.
Until
A lot
it
of
was
people don't.
readily
Right,
there.
right.
I had a lot in there. That shit was good, So
I had operation like 10 years ago in college. Well,
when you were like
it was
25,
like 5 years ago in college.
like 45.
Like it was like 5 years ago in college, and they gave me Vicodin.
Hey, that shit's good.
Yeah.
I was flying, yo.
It made me
I
realize,
was floating.
because the show House, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like,
But he actually had there's a difference. If you
He gave me
have chronic
Vicodin too, yeah.
illness, a lot of them, it's like chronic illness and addiction goes hand in hand because you are in pain.
Right.
But can you manage the pain without the pain medication?
You can,
Some
but
people
you don't
can.
want to.
Some people can't. Like, I mean, okay, yeah. I don't want to talk about my job.
And that's what they have.
But
Pain
it's-
medicine.
it's-
They have pain
yeah.
management though. They have actual programs
Yeah,
so that
yeah,
you can
exactly.
continue. So you can be an
Exactly.
addict
Right.
and resolve your problem.
But the
Right.
instant relief is so good. Like, I would take that without water or anything. I just
Pop it.
pop it like that.
Like I said, made me
I can't.
sick.
Because it was.
Some people react. Yeah, you've thrown up.
You're in
and,
so
right,
much
some
I
people
didn't take it
do.
after
like
that.
I was in so much pain, and I remember waking up from the surgery, and the doctor's like, "Dude, I injected you with painkillers, but before you leave, just make sure you take your
It's
meds
because
once you let it
you
wear
don't
out,
you don't want to
and,
wear
and
off.
I let it wear off once.
Oh, you
and
never
I
do
literally
that.
was
And that's
crying.
what causes people to get
I was
addicted. Because
crying.
once it wears off and you
Yep.
need another
So
one,
I
the
found
pain,
the pill,
yeah.
popped in, and I was like, "Oh,
It's
snap.
sad.
This shit is
But
instant."
the rappers though, that's a different story though
Right.
for them.
To
They're
be
not-
cool, some of
right,
them is to be
yeah.
cool
Right.
to fit in society, just like weed and everything. But like, I mean, I'm for
But I
weed.
feel like
'cause
majority
weed
of
is
them
gonna
though
kill you,
are self-medicating,
Someone
and
has
we
died
need
from a weed
to.
overdose.
Someone.
Who?
Someone.
I don't. I mean,
Someone has died from everything.
And also,
But when
how
it
many
happened,
people?
they talked about it.
the
But how many
basketball
people,
player
though?
that had a seizure on the
I only know
plane,
one.
it was from weed now.
Which basketball player?
What was it? What's his name? The young guy. This was recent. This was 2 weeks ago.
From weed.
Yeah, he
Basketball
smoked
player.
a lot, or it was
Was it the
edibles.
weed?
Edibles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, edibles.
Yeah.
Edibles is
Because they
different.
put
mean,
stuff
well,
in it.
He
I
died or
guess.
he freaked out?
No,
a
he
freak
had a
No,
seizure.
I think I remember. He had a seizure.
Actually, had a seizure
But
because
you
he
can't
ate a lot.
You can't be messing with just edibles just like that.
I mean, right? But I
'Cause
mean, that's the
They
weed.
put stuff in. They put other stuff in there.
Oh, well, I don't know about that, so I don't
Alright.
know.
Well, but
Anyway,
moving on though.
That's sad. R.I.P. to him. But I felt like the way, like, why not just flush it down the toilet? Why do you need to?
And that
swallow
was
it?
what Ashley and I were talking about. We're
Or
thinking
why not
that,
have one of your lackeys take the rap
So
for
our-
it or
so-
something?
so our
Because you're gonna
theory-
get out
he's a
anyway.
young- he's
so
a young guy.
our theory is that perhaps he was already high already to
and then he
begin
took
with.
some more, right? So
And-
he wasn't thinking straight.
But what probably
Right.
just was.
But this is
And he had the wrong people around.
yeah. This is
him.
why
He
you need
didn't
a
have
strong
friends.
team.
Right,
Because
He
right.
didn't have friends
First
around
of
him.
all, let's look at. First of all, a lot of these guys are dumb. Because why do you have drugs on a flight? Like I'm making so much money where I can get drugs at my
Anytime you
destination.
wherever you go,
I can
right?
get it from where I'm coming from. I can get it where I'm
So
going to.
so
I
the
don't
theory
need that.
the
He
theory
also
is
was
that
selling
I don't need
too,
to
right?
transport.
the theory is that the people around him
Were selling?
were taking it was for
them.
to sell because they had like 70 pounds of
Then
weed.
at
Right,
that
that's my
point, I
question.
can't
What
have
you
a
doing with
70
70
pounds.
pounds of weed.
Right.
Like I can't have a
crazy.
team with me that is selling
Putting your life in
drugs
jeopardy,
when I'm a
right.
face
Something.
of something.
It's
Yeah,
sad,
it's like,
man.
bro, y'all got to do that when I'm not here.
What
Right.
a wasted life. It's
you
so
guys can
sad.
do it, but
And he
no,
was so
when I'm
young.
not
I was
here.
at 21, right?
He just turned.
I like the
21.
guy, man.
Christ.
Juice WRLD, like
That's so sad.
Lucy. When I first heard like
It was
Lucy
a good
Drain,
rapper,
it was
too.
it was good. you
Like
know?
he
and he was just coming up.
The reason why I found him interesting was that initially I didn't take him seriously. I just thought he was one of these mumble rappers, and I heard him, then I heard him spit like a freestyle, and I'm like, no, this guy can actually rap. Like he's good. Like he's a sick rapper.
I always feel like he's very poetic.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate though. But
All
moving
right,
on
Dean.
though. The next thing I have on topic here is okay. So wait, first of all, how were you guys' weekends? I already asked. Danny.
Busy, very busy, hectic.
Yours?
Yeah, same.
Yes.
same.
Did you guys catch the Anthony Joshua fight?
I saw clips afterwards.
Oh, you saw clips.
I didn't watch it.
You didn't
I don't
watch it?
watch fights like that.
Did
But I saw
you-
clips.
Danny, did you know about it? I know Wale watched it.
Yeah, could we watch it together? Man?
Yeah. Anthony Joshua is he's a
He's a British rapper.
He's
It's a rap.
British boxer.
British
he's
boxer.
coming. So he's coming back from a loss, and he lost to this Spanish guy
Yeah.
that looks like.
Close this fat guy. That's what Corey's trying to say. This guy is like.
Look, be careful. Be careful of saying the word fat. Apparently, that's a slur
He's
now.
a heavy bone,
I'm a fat
big
guy, so I can
bone.
say fat.
And yeah,
Big
but
bone.
But he's
Dude, right?
he's huge.
Hefty
I look
dude.
skinny next to
Powerful.
that dude.
yeah.
When you say fat.
No, he's not
Listen.
powerful.
No,
Nah, he's just. I
He's
don't
just
even
chubby.
know.
I feel like he's just thick.
I haven't seen the other guy.
He's chubby.
I'll
He's
look up
chubby,
video,
stomach
yeah.
and all, everything. Yes, he looks. What does he look like?
He can still be powerful. No,
I mean, again, he was
he's
powerful
a
enough.
boxer.
He was powerful enough to beat him the last time.
Sure was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because AJ was probably thinking, "Oh, look at this
I got
fat
this,
guy,
right,
He
man."
right.
underestimated him.
But you see the funny thing about this is that the same thing that happened to AJ,
Oh, he looks like
is the same
looks
thing that
intimidating.
happened to this fight because AJ underestimated him, thinking, I'll beat this guy, and then Ruiz is thinking,
I beat him last
I
time.
beat him last time, so he went to Mexico. He
Partied.
gained more weight.
Oh, he won.
Oh,
The guy you just showed me just.
He won the first time.
First time.
Oh, the first time. Okay.
So he went to gain more weight
are you
in
serious?
Mexico.
Yeah.
Yes.
Apparently, he was partying.
He was partying hard.
He wasn't training or anything.
He was part. He showed up to training late. He did everything. So and
Oh wow.
yeah. So,
it's like, I
now
got
he
him.
wants a third fight, but I don't want to see a third.
I
fight.
don't.
Yeah, they might
I
fight
wouldn't
a
give him a
third
third
time.
fight. If I was Anthony Josh, I wouldn't be like,
You know,
excuse
because
me.
right now it's like 1-1.
Did you see the-
And they
But
need
He
to
was defending
decide.
himself, right? He was defending his title.
Yeah, well,
Anthony?
he was. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the first time
No,
he was
he
defending
was.
the
So
title,
this guy took
he
it from
lost
him.
it. This guy
Okay,
took
got
it from him.
No, he took it back.
Yeah. Andy
Okay.
Ruiz.
Did you see the
Yusuf.
Kamaru,
Yes.
Usman and
Yes.
Covington?
Yes.
Yes,
Kamaru.
Nigerian madness. Even though there was a
Yes,
football player named that before,
It
but
was
anyway.
wild. Were you following
Nigerian
that?
nightmare.
No.
You didn't.
Sorry, Nigerian nightmare.
So it was a big deal because the guy he was fighting
a
happened
Trump
to be
supporter.
a huge Trump
really?
UFC.
supporter.
So that's what the sport is.
Kobe
Okay.
Covington.
Covington.
And he's a huge Trump
Like
supporter.
Even went to the White House. Trump had his bell.
You know the
everything.
funny thing is,
Oh yes,
the Trump's
big.
like his kids, the two boys, whatever.
American-
They made a video
Whatever his name
telling
they
the
did.
guy,
They went
Are you
all in.
serious?
Yeah.
tell him like, like
They were pumping him
pumping him
on.
up before the.
Oh, damn.
He wore a red suit with MAGA hats
saw
and
that.
everything.
And then he had
I saw
a
it.
He had a
MAGA
MAGA
hat
hat in his
too.
hand again, yeah. And he Kamaru Usman is born in Nigeria and he
Yeah.
moved here when he was 5. So he's
We've talked
American.
about him
Immigrant,
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an immigrant. He's American. I think he has an American passport, but
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
he
He's still
fights
an
as a
immigrant.
Nigerian.
Right.
And his dad got locked up in jail for something that the story seems like they set him up. Some business he owned, somebody in there was doing something shady, but they locked him up. And I remember doing an interview recently. Covington's, Kamaru was saying, "Look, I'm actually more American than
Right.
you are." And Covington's response was, "No, my dad fought in the." In the war, blah blah. The only thing your dad did was get locked up.
Oh.
So this guy's.
Oh,
been,
he
yeah,
said
he said
that?
it, yeah.
Oh damn!
so-
So he meant him.
So
he came for him.
and,
Yep.
and
He
you know
fucked
when
up.
we say look, here's the thing. If I see a MAGA hat, I don't think you're a racist, but I do believe racists use it as
Symbol.
their
Right.
symbol.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like not everyone who owns a MAGA hat is racist, but every racist owns a MAGA hat.
Right.
That's how I see it.
Right.
Right.
And they have stuff like that. And,
Not necessarily. There are
there
racists that are also not Trump supporters too on the left side too.
Yeah, there's some.
right,
Yes,
well,
yes.
For other
course.
reasons.
Right.
I want to
Well,
make that
the
clear.
Klan.
Same
Recently
thing,
they
but
said they don't
mostly
support
so I don't see a MAGA hat and feel like, oh, this guy's a racist. when racists
His
want to be in your
rhetorics,
face,
though, right.
this is one of the first things they
pull
use
out,
to push
right,
out.
right.
Yeah.
And this guy's been making a lot of remarks, smart comments. Is even his fans, you can tell. 'cause
Yeah. They
even
were
his
fueled
fans,
by
they
that.
were
Yep,
they were
yep.
fighting. Some of them were like, "Oh well, if you love Nigeria so much, why don't you move back and
Right.
stuff like that?" But
The same old
'cause
bullshit
Kamaru-
rhetoric.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
but
Right.
Kamaru-
I didn't know
Immigrants.
all this was going
yeah,
on.
it was going
behind
on.
the
So it was a
scenes.
lot going on. And Kamaru, you could tell, like, I think that maybe that statement about his dad
Right.
really got to him.
But
So
then he
was
also
like-
said though that he was fighting for every immigrant.
yeah, so he said it. He
that.
said he told the guy. He said, "Look, I'm. This is a fight for everybody. This
Right.
is not a fight for just me. This is a fight for every immigrant."
Did he win?
He
Of
broke his
course.
jaw.
Okay,
He
good.
whopped
Yeah.
that. He
Yeah.
mollywopped that
But
ass,
no, here's the
man.
thing. Here's the thing. The fight. Here's the thing, and I like the fact that he knocked him out or tech TKO because it was
even
a very
better.
it was a
Right.
very emotional fight.
It
And
was.
Kamaru was actually losing because he
Initially,
opened himself
yeah.
up to
I saw that
he
part.
wasn't fighting smart. So you could tell he was very emotional about it. So he was like this. If it went to like the end, the judges would have probably given it to Covington so he was trying to get him. He really wanted to get him, and he finally got him. Broke his jaw, and then the guy still fought for 2 more rounds. Kudos to him for doing that. And then he gave him the
You should have seen the
jaw.
blow with the jaw, the jaw
Gave it
breaking
to him,
blow.
man.
I was
Oh,
like,
did they do it in slow mo so you can
Yeah,
see
I,
it
yeah,
I was like,
detached?
Jesus Christ, you went like.
And
All
guess
the
what?
violence
The,
that
the
you
little,
I
the
know.
little, the little Trump MAGA wearing dude, when they were about to announce the winner, he ran out the thing like a little bitch. And ran. They said he was going to
Yeah, he
hospital.
ran or
yeah, they said
something.
he was going to hospital.
broke
I
his
would
jaw.
like to see that.
Yeah,
broke his
so,
It was
jaw.
funny.
but it was good. It was good to see. It's kind of like a Black Panther moment. Good to see. Like look, the power has been stripped from the. But it was good. It was good. It was a good fight. For him to that was the only way it had to end.
Yep.
If it ended with Kamaru losing,
That would have been bad. Yeah, so we never hear the end of it.
we'll not hear the end of it. So but dude is out there saying the referees cheated. He's
I saw that.
Oh,
course,
word.
that's
And
what
that he
happens,
made some
right?
like illegal moves or something like that. I was reading that on Twitter.
Yeah,
Well, his
that he
pride
popped
is
his
broken,
eye.
right?
Yeah.
So his pride. His
Right,
pride
right.
is-
So you have
he-
to.
So that's him. And
Yeah,
that's
he
Kamaru
came out with
coming out.
he came out with the
with the
Burner
Niger
Boy.
flag.
Oh, he came out with
Yeah.
Burna Boy.
Yeah.
Anybody know the song? The soundtrack
Oh,
of Anybody
word?
by Burner. Yeah,
Okay.
the Nigerian Nightmare.
I actually met him once.
Oh, really?
At a club. Yeah. At
Foxy People.
Foxy's party.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was there. He was just in the corner chilling. I remember seeing him and I was like, that guy can probably kill everyone.
Of course.
Like with
Yeah, his
one
arms
punch.
his hand is probably a registered weapon.
Weapon, right.
But this is not his. This is not their fight.
Yeah, it says
Well,
Usman.
maybe he's showing like the undercards and stuff like that.
yeah, that's probably what it is. Okay, now that's a Covington guy, and I want to see this. Hold on, I'm gonna fast forward.
All right, so go back
All right.
a little bit. There we
Okay,
go.
yeah, that was it.
It's about enough.
That was where he got him in the jaw.
No,
The jaw one was on the floor, like they were down a little bit.
there was one where he
Boom.
first hit him down, and then are you gonna put all these clips on there?
Yeah, most likely. He's saying
So
look
he's
at my
claiming he
eye.
got poked.
Look at my eye.
You know what? I have a
No,
better
but he
video.
actually
I have a
poked
better-
Kamaru
yeah,
in the
he
eye,
did,
though.
yeah.
That's the thing. They showed the clip.
But
Oh, they
you
must have
know,
skipped over it. And that's
Yeah, they did. But I
Okay.
have a better.
Yeah, I think that they skipped over it.
That's what it looks like.
Booyah!
Yeah, you
Damn.
can tell, man.
He looks like
he used
his
the
whole
whole.
world
I
He used
told
the
you,
whole
like-
strength.
Right, like the whole body.
The
like,
strength
Kamaru
of
Like
used
he
the strength of the
shot
Black
Black
Panther. Or as they say, Black Panther. He used the strength.
The strength of the black
strength of the Black
of
Panther.
the Black Panther.
God damn it. I don't know who talks like that.
Moving on. Speaking of people rapping for Africa or whatnot, did you guys hear about South Africa winning Miss Universe?
Of course. Black Girl Magic has been on the roll,
Oh,
and
please.
all
please,
the
please.
contestants, all the pageants have all been black girls.
But-
right.
All 5 of
The
them,
one that
right?
recently just-
So
which
here's
is a great thing.
Miss World.
It is.
Wait,
Miss
but
World.
I want to hear, why is it a great thing?
There. So
Because-
I want to
because
put down
of
my hat
represent-
on. If
What?
is it all white women have been winning every time?
Yes, for the most part.
For the most
For
part.
the most
So
part, for the
represent-
history of all the pageants.
Right. So representation is important. People
Right.
like to see themselves as winners. And across the board through Miss World, Miss Teen, what is it, Miss USA?
Teen USA.
Now you get to see that you are valued, you are beautiful, you are part, all those things.
And
That's why
it's-
it's important.
Right.
So,
and it's
but-
not just the silky haired girls that are winning. The Miss South Africa is natural. Like her hair looks like my
And that's
hair.
one thing that I noticed too.
Natural.
And they're not light skinned.
Is
Right.
it wrong? But
Because
see,
that's something too.
but
that
is
we
it
never
maybe because I'm
see.
not a
No.
woman?
Right.
But it's like these things don't really bother me.
I mean, but you come from a majority black country, though. You can't use
but I don't
yourself
really, I don't, like,
as
if I, like,
but it's a beauty pageant.
if I see Miss World being Hispanic or Asian, I really
Like why do I
don't
need
lose
to
sleep
get
over
why do I as a
you
black
know,
person
I mean,
need to get my
if a Nigerian won, I'll be hey, but that's
But it's
here's
not
the
the
thing.
same. I feel like it's not the same for
why
us a little
why
bit.
do I
No,
need to get
it's
my
not the same.
validation
It's not.
from
It's not the
It's
same
not.
for
Maybe
us.
it's
We
not.
see
Maybe
black
it's
people
not.
every time. We see our black president is black. Everybody in our
yeah,
country
but
is
we've
black.
been here long
American,
enough to
but
notice
it's
that
not
there's
the
a
same
difference.
thing.
Yeah,
It's
so
not
I-
the same
so
thing.
I agree.
I'll let her speak.
So I say just for Americans, the main thing is that beauty for black women was you had to be light skinned, you had to have a relaxer. That's why so many women walk around with weaves. You're saying if you don't look like this, have a small nose, have different
European features,
yeah,
basically.
European features, then you're not beautiful.
Okay.
So
Since the dawn of time in America, that's how it's always
so
been.
now it's changing.
And it's a good thing.
You're actually bringing more diversity into, especially the fact that the majority of them are darker. That is a great thing to me.
but then how is it diversity if it's all black women that are winning?
Because they didn't have that
It's
before.
diversity in terms of like
It was never like
compared
that.
to last year.
Yeah, because
compared
last year
to-
was what, Miss Venezuela or something like that. Someone from
I
I mean, that's
Spanish
diversity
culture.
too.
Usually also a woman of
yeah, but
color.
it's different. They're
But
accustomed to
especially
winning.
USA, Miss USA, the last, was it 2 years ago? The last three finalists were blonde hair, blue eyed girls. There was no
Right.
difference between them. You couldn't differentiate them. And that's what the history is in America with beauty pageants. Usually, and especially in the beauty industry, they catered to more white women. They didn't cater to black women until the whole natural beauty hair thing started gaining force. Now
I
we're
think
getting
that's-
more representation
And also,
now.
I'm curious, do you know what their platforms were? Okay, I was just, all right.
I didn't watch
The
it.
value, I'm just asking that because that also makes a difference too, because now you're saying that what is important to us is also important, because
Right.
that's what mostly where they win at is the speech.
Right.
I fear this idea of we as black people getting our validation from things like beauty pageants. I think
I'm
I
not
don't even
saying
think
getting
it's
your
beauty. I don't even think
validation
it's
from
beauty
beauty pageants. It's
I
just
think
that
it's bottom of
like
the
you just want to
barrel.
see people that
But I
look
do
like you
think-
in media.
But
Yeah,
then
that's
we
the
as
main
black
thing.
people-
But do we-
Representation
but-
is important.
But
It is
why?
important.
But we can have our own representation.
Yes, and that's how I
we
feel.
know what we
When
like.
people
as
say
black
You
stuff
do.
like-
a lot of black,
when
it's
people
not
say
the
stuff
same
like
for
you
black
wanna
Americans,
black-
I'm telling
Yeah, I
you
was gonna
that.
say
okay,
Americans,
when
it's
people tell me
different.
stuff like they want a black Spider-Man or black whatever it is,
Well,
I'm
they had
like,
a
go
black
make
Spider-Man.
another.
Right, it
just
was
go
good.
make your own movie.
It was good. Oh, even though he
But
was
they don't
Hispanic
get
too.
they don't
No.
get money pumped towards it. If not
Well,
for Tyler
now we
Perry,
got Tyler Perry
now
doing
we
his thing,
do.
you know,
Now we
so,
do.
and-
In the
and more-
history though, it
and we
wasn't
should-
like
we
that.
should- we
Well,
should
even
push
now
for
it's
more
really not,
people.
because even
Well,
through the time
well,
period of like
right.
for film, as far as like black exploitation is concerned, that was still funded by
True.
whites.
Right.
But
So
but
it's
you know what
still
this
white
tells me?
depiction of
You know what
black
this
people.
tells me? You know what this tells me? All this tells me is that they probably just put in black women just to appease black people.
I don't think that's what it was this time.
that's
though.
all
I don't
it
think that
tells
is-
me.
I don't
You
think
know-
that's what it
I
was
think
this time.
no,
You
not
know-
at all.
because now it's even less diverse. All 5 of them are black.
Hey, but that's,
so it's all
that's
black
never
people.
happened before ever. But we've
Ever.
had all white before. We've
Because
had,
it
you
was-
know what I mean? It's never happened before.
So
That's a good thing.
Are you gonna fight
you
for
say so.
all Hispanic next?
Why not?
Yeah.
Would you be
What's the
happy if it was
problem?
all Hispanic people?
Yeah.
Hispanic, all Asian,
All Asian?
Yeah, why not?
everybody deserves to be represented.
Right. I don't say nothing
Sure.
wrong with that. No.
When,
not-
when
I'm
that
not
when that
gonna-
happens,
I'm not gonna touch this one,
I'll
but-
pull the tweets out when that happens.
I mean,
'Cause
but they're
I'm
people
pretty
of color
sure-
too. You know that, right?
Yeah,
they're
they
people
are.
of color too, so they
I'm
need
pretty
representation as well.
I'm pretty sure a lot of black women would not be happy with all Asian
I
or
don't think
Hispanic.
so.
Well, then they're hypocrites.
Right.
That's where I'm getting to. There's a lot of hypocrisy. Is that the word?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
In this world we live in.
Well, we'll see. But as of now, we're happy with black women.
Yeah.
being-
I'm
If
excited
it makes
about
you
it.
happy, then sure.
I am.
To me, it doesn't really mean
I feel
anything
the
to
same
me.
way I felt before I even knew there was a Miss Universe this year, and knowing it's all black,
I've never even thought like the past Miss
I'm
Universe.
happy because I see like my black sisters and family happy, but it's like I'm not happy. Like I don't feel any type of way.
Did you even watch the pageants before ever in your
No.
life? Exactly.
That's
so
what I'm saying. So I
doesn't-
didn't really feel any type of way.
Because I never thought they were good looking
So,
to begin with.
I wasn't
thought
bothered
I
about
thought
it.
a
And
lot of
because
them
the
were-
Majority
people
of
they
them are
picked-
good looking.
Same way I
I thought a
see-
lot of them were a little too skinny for my taste.
It's
I
the
mean,
same
that's
way
the
I
standard of
see.
beauty, though. That's what I'm
No, no,
saying.
that's
what they
their-
picked.
that's
Yeah,
their
because
The
thing.
European
we've talked
standard
about
of
But
beauty
here's
is what
something-
they use.
And
But
that's
here's
my
something-
point.
here's-
We
We've talked
shouldn't
about that before.
Right.
we shouldn't seek Europeans validation.
But that's what the
for
society.
But this
just
is
just
what you
because you
just said.
don't
So you
correct,
just
you
said
can't
something.
do that.
You said
That's
something.
societal.
You said a statement.
we as
Let
black
Danny-
people-
let-
okay.
let her.
I'm just saying, in American society, I would just want to say American society, black people have started to conform to the European standards.
Because
of
they had no
beauty.
choice.
They always
They
have.
had to,
They
though.
always have.
They have,
You couldn't get a
I
job.
don't think they
but
always have.
They had
So-
to. I don't
Yeah.
feel like they wanted.
All right.
It wasn't a choice. They had to get a job. You had to look a certain way. You couldn't have your natural dreads.
No,
were
you
not
can't.
allowed.
But you said
Locks
something.
Definitely
You
were
said-
not
you
allowed.
said-
Now it's just
You were belittled
finally
because you
You were
had
talking-
it.
you're
And
so
you're
it's
told
just
to leave.
finally being
you were talking
accepted.
about the way they looked, and you used the word they looked natural, and they had your short hair and stuff like that. And it goes back to me saying why they keep using someone like Lupita as the poster
But she's
child,
South
because
African.
Which
She
I
looks-
disagree.
She looks this.
No, but South
this
Africa is South African.
typical
She's African.
Look, we think African. I think if we're pushing for diversity, let them. If they want to be black with long hair, let them be black with
But
long
you
hair.
know
If
that
they want to be
our
black with
African
short
people
hair,
too are now starting to
let them
succumb
be
to the
short- let
European
them be
beauty
short hair.
standards
If
too,
they
right?
wanna
That's why
be
you
bald,
see all
let
this
them be
Nigerian girls
bald.
with
But
the
that's-
weave
kind of the point,
let them
right?
do what they want to do.
But that's kind of the point, because in black culture, we see beauty in different ways.
Right.
But for white women, it's
It's one way.
you have
Is
to have
that what
long
I'm saying?
hair. And it has to be blonde. And you have to weigh 5
Why,
pounds.
but why
Sorry.
do we care what white people think
Correct.
about
Because we have to
Why
live
do-
in their society.
Right,
Right?
exactly.
No, it's-
We
yes,
live in their
and you have to
world.
conform to the society
No,
before.
I've never
Okay.
had to conform to any.
You can't speak
any
for
of those
yourself.
Men are
in this.
different.
Exactly.
Men are
what?
different because either you're accepted or
Or
you're not.
At some point, we have to start telling ourselves that, you know what, we
But we're telling you what the way we're judged in society, especially
And
in
black
American
women, I think,
society.
have it the
it's just very
hardest.
confusing.
Right.
It's just
Even
very
other
confusing.
black women who have made it through the gates or
Will
whatever,
judge you and
they'll
look
judge
down
you
on
and be
you.
like,
Exactly.
nah,
But,
I can't
but
be
that's
with you.
why it's just very confusing, because we talk about European standards. Yeah, we're fighting so hard to then get validated by them. It's
Because they're the majority in this country, and they're the ones ruling, unfortunately, in
Right.
this country.
They sign my
make
checks.
they make the rules, unfortunately, in this country. So you do kind of have to conform and assimilate to their standards.
we
A
don't
little
have to
bit.
conform.
A little bit,
But,
we
okay,
do have
but
to.
you do
correct.
believe-
Okay.
You don't have
Do
to.
we all agree that a lot of black people do look for validation from?
I wouldn't call it now. Not anymore. I wouldn't say they look for validation. I wouldn't say
Even
that.
Africans, we look for validation
I
from
think that
Western world.
I think they still do. I think black people
think
still
so,
do
yeah.
in some senses.
It's changing.
Because
And a lot of
even
black
though they
people-
have natural,
The fact
even though
that you
some people
guys
have
keep-
natural hair,
Yeah.
you still maybe you style it in some similar ways.
I don't know.
Or maybe you don't wear it out and free and wild. Like you still tame
Because you feel
yourself
like
in
you're
order.
going to be judged, though.
Yeah, and
New York finally passed the bill that you can't be judged by your hair anymore.
yeah,
Jobs
that's
can't
right.
discriminate and fire you because of your hair. They used to be able to do that. Now they can't. A lot of the states still don't have those laws.
They're still discriminating.
Right.
They just wrote a
Exactly.
different
They
reason
just
for why they fired you on
thank
the paper.
you.
They can't say because you're
So-
unkept.
Anyway,
There's a lot of issues with the way women, especially in this country, are judged.
fair.
That's
Yeah.
I'm gonna move on to a break now. This is Rotimi featuring Wale. For those that don't know, Rotimi was the guy
that's
behind.
my new single. Yeah.
Rotimi was behind Baby Baby. What was the name of that song?
Or
Redeem, something redeem.
I keep every time I hear the name
Love-
Rotimi, I keep
love
thinking
reading.
of one guy that was like Rotimi.
Wait, what? That's how he
Rotimi.
called
Yeah,
himself?
no, some
Okay.
guy referred to him as Rotimi.
Well, anyway, he's got a new single out now with Wale. I think there's also
It's Wale,
he
bro. It's Wale.
he was adding some of the melodies
rapper,
from.
Yeah, Wale the rapper.
He was adding some of the melody. Anyway, you guys listen to it.
Yeah,
Check
some
this
of the
out.
melodies from Love Rhythm.
All right, this is In My Bed. All right, welcome back.
The guy is going to trademark that, baby.
He has.
he loves that shit.
Do you know Rotimi? You
You know,
know who we're talking about, right?
Rotimi?
Do you watch Power?
I don't.
Oh.
Is he on there? Oh.
He's the light skinned.
He,
I don't know.
he
I don't
looks
watch
like
the
he
show
works
either.
out and
Yeah,
such.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have.
They
I
all
read
look like-
blogs,
they all look
so that's
like
how I
they
see
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh, but the light skinned one.
But he wrote, as much as I like his music to an extent, he's very cheesy when he does his
African butterscotch.
Nigerian Mr. Butterscotch.
African
It's very
butterscotch.
cringy
Yeah,
for
very
me.
cringy, yes. So he should stop it if he can. That's why they be saying the power of the black Penta, because when you talk like that, you know.
He's trying to connect with you.
Everyone. It's not misconnecting with her. It's
trying to
connecting
connect.
with
I feel
people.
just be yourself.
He's not
Don't
connecting.
don't
with
try
you. Be
to.
yourself.
But how do we know what he really
I'm pretty
is?
sure his dad doesn't talk like that. Neither does his mom talk like that, or any of his family members.
Was he born and raised here?
I don't know.
I think he was born in Nigeria. I don't know. I really don't know. Let me not misspeak.
He bought a penthouse in Lagos.
He
Did
did?
he?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So he's contributing to the economy.
I'm sure. Hey, we'll take it. You guys have any Christmas plans?
He was born in Jersey, by the way.
Jersey.
There you go. He's trying to connect.
Yep.
You guys have any Christmas plans?
People in Jersey? Or?
Yeah, this is the last episode. What are you guys doing for the long break?
Just
Why are you
chilling,
trying to be my
relaxing.
business, man?
Right.
Just
Like,
I'm trying to.
You asked the first time I ignored you. After the second time I ignored you. After the third time, like, come on.
I know both of you are traveling, so
Yeah.
There you go, snitching again. I don't understand.
And my birthday's on Christmas.
Oh wow, really?
Christmas
Yeah.
Christmas
Day.
baby.
Yes.
How much
Damn.
do you hate that?
I love it.
Oh,
Can I
really?
ask
I'm an only child, so
Oh.
it was never negative for me.
Wow.
And
So you get
when I
double
was
presents.
when I was growing up, my parents used to have Christmas in July for me.
What sign is that?
Capricorn.
Christmas in July. Explain that. I'm just-
So they would have my birthday party in July, so that I wouldn't just have one birthday
Oh, gosh.
during
Really?
Christmas.
child.
Because they
yeah.
always give me like Christmas presents and birthday presents, but they thought it would be a good idea. But then they told me I was too greedy at the end, so they stopped doing that.
They really spoiled you, didn't they?
I mean, why not? Only child.
It's just me.
Yeah.
Um,
What are you doing,
I
Mr.
kind of zoned
Question?
out, but I think you said something about gifts
Christmas present. She
Christmas
Christmas
present.
and birthday present on the same day because she's Christmas baby.
on the same day. So they give you one gift.
No, it's
she's an
separate.
only child, so no.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Only child.
Yes.
Yeah. I was the only child for 5 years.
Me too.
How was that?
And then she came. I actually wanted a sister. I actually asked, and then she came the day after my birthday, so I always claim her as my birthday present.
Sister
I
came.
That's
know.
so sweet.
I know.
I like that
She
story.
came and took all the attention.
Oh no, I still got the attention.
Ooh.
I'm the only
She wanted a sister though.
I wanted
she
one so
came
badly.
and got the attention. Like
You on the other hand don't sound as
All
excited.
right.
I was. I mean, I was the only child for 5
Is it
years.
just
was
y'all
good.
two?
It's just both of us. It was amazing being the only child for 5. I had everything I wanted.
I mean,
And
I
then
still
she-
got
That's
everything I
And
wanted.
then she came.
sometimes I wish I
And
had
now
a
she
younger
gets
brother
everything.
or younger.
You know what? I actually do wish I did have a brother. I feel like, I mean, there's a little disconnect between my sister and I. And just, like, I love her to death. I'll do anything for her. But I feel like we just kind of have a little disconnect. Like, we're siblings, but I don't know if we're, like, best friends kind of thing, you know? So I feel like if I had a brother, maybe,
I mean, some people.
you know, he
Corey
could
has
bond
two
better
brothers.
with
you
me.
know.
Are you guys?
But you
best
never know.
friends,
You
or
never know. I
you're
might hit
just-
their gut, you know? So
Yeah, because my dad's a twin. They don't get along.
Oh wow, really?
No, at all.
Wow. I wish
Yeah,
I always
wow.
wanted to
I
have.
feel
I wanted
like
to be a twin, but I mean,
maybe-
clearly.
everybody wanted to be a twin.
Or I want to
twin.
have twins too.
Everybody
twins,
wants to
yes.
have twins too, you know?
Get it out the way.
Yeah,
That's my
exactly.
point.
A boy and a girl.
Yeah.
Done. One
Those
and
Go
done.
watch-
through the pain.
You know,
One
they say
time.
if you want to make God laugh, just tell him your plans.
I know.
That's what you get quadruplets.
I wouldn't mind.
And that's what I was about to say.
Why not? Bring him on. Bring him on.
In this economy, it's insurance
Oh, we
and
broke all at the same time.
who you
Oh,
getting
gosh.
again? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, who's he getting again? One of your Z.
So yeah, what
Oh,
are you doing
Christmas
for
plans?
Christmas? Yeah.
All right, so my dad's coming in town.
Okay.
Oh, your parents don't live here?
No,
Oh, okay. Where?
I'm from Florida, so my parents
okay,
they both live in
You
Florida.
watch the Breakfast Club?
I do.
So you know that, all the crazy things happen in Florida. and
Well,
the
I mean, we had
Bronx.
the best news. It usually involves the
Yeah.
alligator or something.
So
Right. Best
stories
news.
that you're crazy out
Yeah.
there.
But you
according
know
to
what's
Charlamagne.
funny?
Oh.
When I was living in Florida and I used to read these stories, I would think nothing of it.
Right.
Then I
you
moved-
You're a part of it.
Yeah, and then I moved here. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, it's like,
It's
damn, we're crazy
Florida.
down there.
We're all on
Yeah.
meth. That's what I
We're in
thought.
Florida.
Orlando.
Oh, wow,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Disney
Yes.
World.
It's,
That's the only
well,
time I've
technically
been
it's in Kissimmee, Buena Vista. It's 45 minutes away.
See, when I went to Disney World, they told me it was Orlando, so they lied to me. I need a refund because I paid to go to Orlando.
But then after my dad
But
leaves,
you know why Florida always gets all the crazy news? I'm sure crazy things happen all over the place too, but Florida's media, like something about they have some kind of law where they have to publish everything. Yeah, that's why we don't get all this crazy news from everywhere else.
All right, so let's
I'll
do
look
that,
it up.
yeah.
I'll share it with you. Something about Florida's news.
that would make sense.
Yeah,
All right.
right. That's why they get all the
So
crazy
let's
stuff.
try and wrap
All
up.
right, so we're supposed to be interviewing.
Yes. So, first of all, I actually had some feedback for all of us.
Who?
That I was just some listeners.
If they
Okay.
talk shit about me, I'm gonna hunt them down, man.
So
There was
Chat
actually
shit, get
one.
banged.
There was
That's
actually
what.
one about Wale,
What?
and I can't get it open for some reason.
what was the gist of it?
Damn it!
What was
good.
it saying?
But basically, they said that, and I'll
said
say
I
the
want-
I'll start with myself.
No,
so-
tell, I want to hear what they
I
said
was
about me.
told that
you're a bitch.
No, I was told that I go on rants sometimes.
You think? Okay.
And it's something that I'm going to be mindful of going forward, of course. Wale, there was this one that there was actually an actual text, and I wish I could read it now, but it was something along the lines of they felt like they were listening to one episode. I'm trying to remember what episode it was, but they felt like Wale doesn't look like he's interested, like it looks like he's bored, and that they weren't really feeling your vibe.
Okay. Anything about me?
About you.
You know what? Hold on.
I didn't get anything about you.
Before you get to that, yeah, whoever is listening, I'll be bored sometimes. So yeah, nice for catching. Now, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just
on your phone watching
not
your
even
games.
about my phone.
I think we have to respect the listeners.
Even if,
Right.
no, you know what? Even in person, sometimes I just go into my shell sometimes. And sometimes
But did
I'm out
somebody
of
say I
it.
was
So
their favorite or something like that?
you know,
No.
Somebody did
The
say
feedback.
that.
Someone did tell me they thought Corey was like, if they didn't know it was Nigerian, they thought it was a white Trump
white
supporter,
Republican,
a white
yep.
Republican.
Yes.
You're kidding
Yes.
They tell me
Fuck
that.
out of here. That's a lie. That's a
I can't
bold
really hear
ass lie.
myself anymore. Can you guys hear me?
That's a
Yeah.
bold ass
That's
lie.
cool.
Yeah, I can hear you.
That's a bold. I had some feedback for Yeti and for Wale.
Okay, so
This is just from me. You guys be cutting me off.
shove you.
Y'all
No,
be
we do
cutting me
not,
off,
but
man.
okay.
Wale be cutting me
Can
off
we do the interview?
all the
Probably
time.
We have 20
necessary.
minutes.
Right.
Y'all be cutting me off.
I'm trying
Like
to cut you
now?
off right
Thank
now.
you.
Like
It was
now,
necessary. Exactly.
necessary.
So
Exactly.
please.
They
Like,
try to keep you on
Next.
track.
Right. Because you've been rambling for real. Like that person said. So maybe, yeah.
All right, so Danny.
All right. So instead of doing an actual formal interview, because just to let you know, I went back and I listened to a lot of your episodes, which were really entertaining to me, especially your
you that
first.
bored?
I was doing research. I like research.
Okay.
So
yes.
So your first episode was actually really funny. But either way, so I decided, because it's really difficult to try to learn about you through a podcast because you don't really give a lot of information about yourself, I decided to play a game. And it's called If You Really Know Me, You Would Know That. Okay, so then you have to fill in the blanks. So the catch to this would be that you say, hey, you have to say 3 things about yourself. But two things about yourself, and the last one will be what have you learned from doing this podcast so far? So give me 2 things about yourself, and what have you learned?
Okay. So, who wants to start?
Why you guys
Should
looking
I
at me?
get started?
Yeah,
I'll
go
start.
ahead.
I'll start. I can name off the top of my head. I can think of one thing that people don't really know. Now they may have observed it, they may have guessed it, but I don't think they really know. But it's that I am, and I'm coming out officially now.
As a Republican.
Wale, please stop this stuff. My friends have been doing this thing where they keep saying I'm like a closeted Republican. I'm not. No, I'm not.
All right, go on.
I'm
Say
not.
what you're
I'm.
saying.
I don't
You
associate
guys, he's
with
about to
any
come out.
party.
I
Come
just think
on.
of fat shame.
We're having a coming
I
out
don't
party.
Thank you.
You think I'm a fat shamer?
I listened to your other episodes.
All right,
just
come
saying.
on, go
Thank
on.
you.
Go on.
I'm not a fat shamer. I just, but
Go
yeah.
ahead.
I'm a stutterer.
We knew that.
And that's why, some people might not know that, but that's why, if you're wondering why I have a lot of ums and uhs, it's because that's part of my way of coping with my stuttering.
Yeah, he's retarded.
And that's...
No, we don't use that
Oh.
word. Thank you.
Oh yeah, it's a slur now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the R word. They call it the R word.
Special
Yeah, I'm
needs.
sorry. He's
No,
not
but,
retarded. I take that back.
But yeah, I am, and so that's why for me this podcast, it means a lot, because it's a chance for me to, I'm telling you, this is not something that I do very often, like public speaking, and this has given me a chance to conquer a lot of those fears of speaking publicly and putting my views out there, and at least trying to formulate my views. For me, it's very rewarding, and in a lot of ways I've overcome a lot of my fears running this podcast for the past year and a half. So that's one thing that some people might not know.
What's the
But
second thing?
another thing that people might not know about me is that I'm not a fan of political correctness. I'm really not.
I think
We
everybody's
knew
noticed
that,
that.
right?
I'm
We
really
knew that as
not.
well.
I'm really
So
not.
can we say stuff that's like obvious?
Well,
Well,
you
no,
just
I'm gonna
did.
say no. I'm
Okay.
gonna say no just because I don't know a lot about either of you.
Okay.
So I would like to know something that I can't observe.
All right. Cool.
But could you tell I was a stutterer?
No,
She didn't know that.
but the public speaking thing, I don't know.
Cool.
Really?
You ramble on. That works, so I didn't know that was a thing. So.
No, it was a fear I had to overcome. I actually had to I took Toastmasters at one point.
Oh,
Like I used to be like I would get in front of people. Like this has been a journey. Like you know, when I first started working, like I would be shaking in front of people and I would just freeze. And if you see me now, you would know how far I've come. So yeah, I guess that would be a second thing that I've achieved over the years, just being able to overcome my public speaking fears.
Oh.
The third thing was what I've learned
Yes.
from this podcast. I would say what I've learned from this podcast is that I don't know. Maybe I should pass it to Wale. I'll have to think about that. I don't want to just blurt out the first thing that comes to my head.
Cheating, man. Okay, so what don't they know about me? Do they know anything about me? People know I like music.
Yeah,
I
of
love
course.
music.
It's a music podcast, so
I'm not too big on organized religion because I think a lot of it is cultism.
are you an atheist?
I'm not an atheist. I'm actually a Christian.
So
But
you are part of an organized
I
religion.
am, but doesn't mean I'm big on it. I'm not. Okay, you know what? I'm not big on how they practice it. Let me correct that. I believe, yes, we all should believe in God. You know, I can give some examples as to how my life. Actually, let me say something. All throughout last year, I was jobless.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was working for myself. Sometimes, and no one really knew. This year, it's a whole new ballgame. So
That's good.
that's
Proud
part
of
of
you
the
for it.
Christian stuff. You know, I was
Good job.
coping
Yeah.
last year. I was making up appearances, but man, I was jobless.
And faith helped you get through that.
Faith
is that
did
what you're
help.
saying?
Faith helped
Okay.
me get through that. Actually,
That's
so
good.
that's one thing about me they didn't know. Faith did help me get through that. I think last year was like I was most in my religious bag the most.
Okay.
I don't think I ever missed church. In fact, I served in church. Like I worked in the
What?
corporate team.
See, no, that I didn't know. That I didn't know.
Yeah, but I had to go back to like my faith because there was nothing else. You know, sending out applications, wasn't getting paychecks that you would like, a lot of undermining, and you know, I decided to go to what I was raised as a Christian, and
That's
I
good.
went to church and I prayed and I prayed, and the way I got the job was actually kind of weird because they actually found me.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was like I sent out probably 1,000 applications, but it was like someone just found me.
Wow.
You know, so like, hey, we saw your resume on LinkedIn. What's up? And like a week later, offer letter.
Wow.
So yeah, that's
Look
one
at
thing. I mean, I was still freelancing a little bit, but
Right.
freelancing is very tough. You
Right,
can make a lot of money 1 month and not make money for 6 months. So, second thing about me that people don't know is, damn, I had something in my head before. Okay, while I think about that, what have I learned from this podcast? I didn't think I'll still be here this long.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I've done something right.
Actually, was supposed to be a guest when he started it.
Right.
That's how he presented it to me, so he lied.
Really?
He told me
Really?
I was-
Wale?
Yes,
told me I was
actually,
gonna
I
be
was
his
gonna
first
call you out
guest.
on that too. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me I was
I
going to be his
didn't
first
know
guest.
it was gonna be a
He had this whole
current thing,
concept.
But you
yep.
work so well together.
You know, he said, bro, we're going to do this.
Really?
Like, when we're going to the club in D.C., I'll, like, record in the car. It's kind of like he was thinking, like, carpool karaoke kind of stuff. Carpool podcast.
wow.
Yo,
I had a lot of
Let me-
ideas that I bounced
Let me
around.
TM that right now, because in case someone tries to steal that
Right.
idea, but carpool podcast, you know. So he did present that idea to me. But what I learned is, I mean, my views are different from the two of you. Sometimes it overlaps, and a lot of times it might be different. But I've learned, you know, we can all get along as one.
Right.
Second thing about me is I'm a very creative person. I'm actually left-handed.
Oh, wow.
You're creative.
I have
Is that why it took you 3 months to come up with the Spanish
haven't.
Surfer logo? It
I
took this
do-
dude
I
3
do what
months
I-
to come up
Let
with
him
Spanish
speak.
Surfer
Because-
logo.
It
because
takes
I
time.
do what I want when I want to do it. But actually I have a degree in graphic design, and I'm left-handed, so it's actually a thing. I thought it was a myth until I think right before I graduated. I just observed my class, and I think 80% of people in there were left-handed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they say left-handed people think with the right side of their brain, which is the creative side.
Yeah.
So it is a thing. I've concluded. So yeah, those are the 3 things about me.
Yeti.
Unlike Wale, I'm not creative at all. Though. Like, I'm the opposite, like completely opposite. I'm more science and math, and I need to see it. If I can't see it, it doesn't exist. Well, yeah, that's how I am. No. I also speak too fast. I've actually trying. I do. I talk too fast.
And then your Nigerian accent just sneaks in.
Sometimes, and then it goes back out, right? I've been working on that. I've been working to slow down a little bit. I don't think I'm being successful at that. But I'm trying. Especially this weekend, I had to give us a vote of thanks. They bamboozled me. They hijacked me. Last minute, when I got to the party, I was like, oh, you're going to do the vote of thanks. I was like, because I hate public speaking. Like, I'm one of those people, I shake. I have anxiety. Like, I start rambling and start talking. And so this podcast has actually helped me a little bit too with that, like formulating my ideas before I start talking and all that stuff. So, what else? Don't you know about me?
So you're trying to think of your second.
Oh, also, this decade has been, I feel like, my most successful decade ever. From 2010 to now.
Okay.
I've been through a lot. A lot of people don't know, except my close friends. But I'm going to break it on this podcast.
Okay.
So,
Right.
I was born with sickle cell.
Yeah.
And I had the bone marrow transplant in 2010. So I'm officially cured of sickle cell.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it was a lot.
That's
2010, 2012, I was MIA from public. Like, no one knew. I mean, I guess they knew, but they didn't know where I was. Because it was a 2-year process for me. It took 2 years to get back to regular. I wasn't working. I wasn't anywhere. I couldn't go out, nothing. So maybe next September we'll do Sickle Cell Awareness Month, and I'll tell my story.
Please.
That's
And
really
I
a
remember,
blessing right there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember when you went through it, and it's funny because you
But
never
nobody said anything.
You see,
though.
because
That's
you
the
never.
thing.
Here's the thing: Yeti never really said anything to me. I didn't even know until afterwards, right? And it was really like there was a point where they thought you might die.
Yes.
Like, it was pretty serious. And when I heard about it, I was like, "Are you serious?" But what even shocked me about the whole thing was that you came out of that like a champ. Like, it was almost like, and you know how some people come out of something really serious and they're constantly telling everybody. She didn't even do any of that. She just you got to business. Before you know it, you got your new car, you got your job, you started working, and I'm like, damn, like you came out of that like a champ, man.
We've been through the worst.
I know.
Anything else?
And
is just
and
whatever.
that's one of those things.
Right.
It's almost like you were there. You were at that point where, I mean, thank God for your life. I really do. I really do. And the fact that you came out of that like a champ and you've just kind of moved on. I find that it's one of those things that I really respect about you a lot. And there's, you know how they say there's the people that they get to that point. There's a certain wisdom that comes with them that not many people can really relate to, and that's why I really value your opinions. Even as much as I may disagree with you, I like that you're opinionated. I do want to say something that and since we're talking about coming on this show, and a big reason, part of the reasons why I kind of chose you guys is, first of all, Wale. I've always someone that I always talked Afrobeat with. I always talked about music, art with. And that was something that was a conversation that was never hard. It was always easy. It was even I was entertained listening to Wale talk about these artists because he was passionate about them. He was passionate about the music. You could tell he knew like backstories of how some songs came about. And that in itself, I was like, okay, right off the bat, Wale has to be on there because I knew Afrobeat was gonna be a big part of it. Same thing with Yeti. I've known you from college, and from college I remember back in the days, remember back when we used to talk about music, and you had this, you were one of those few people that you were about the same age, maybe I was a little bit younger than you, but no, we're the same age. No, but we're the same age, but you knew a lot about the songs that I grew up with, and that was something that we always bonded over. And just in general, you've always been this I too know it all. Like, Yeti knows everything. Like on every topic, she knows like a little. She'll know something, and she's always like dropping these facts. So that was something that I always felt would be of value, just given the fact that you seem to be a very inquisitive person. You read a lot. I mean, I don't know anyone that reads like Yeti, always consuming everything on the internet. That's a big part of the reason why I have you guys here. And honestly, one of the things that I've learned this year is that, remember back when we used to try to get guests? I realized that I really don't need guests to have a good podcast. Exactly. A lot of the podcasts that I've enjoyed the most were the ones where it was just us. And we were just talking, and we were just, you know what I'm saying? And so, that would be the one thing that I've learned this year, is that, I value you guys a lot. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to switch it back on Danny.
Yes, Miss Danny.
Yes. So, back at you.
This is your third episode, right?
Right.
It is.
Yeah,
Yes.
Two things that you have. What was the two things that
no one knows about you.
No one knows about you.
What have you learned in your 3 episodes or 2.5 episodes?
All right. I don't know how I can follow up with the two of you with your two things that are interesting about you, right?
Well, me being jobless.
No, but it just seems really heartfelt, right? So I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
Two things. All right. So when I was in middle school and high school, I was a rapper. I was a part of a rap group called ADM.
Okay. You're gonna have to bless us
Actually,
with
now that you said it, I can see
I
it.
can't rap for anything right now, and I probably couldn't then either. But it was 3 of us, and we would perform at school, and we had this really thick notebook of all the rhymes that we used to write until my dad found it. And he saw the curse words and then he threw it out. So that was pretty much the end of the rap group. But so that's something that a lot of people don't know. And another thing, I don't know. There's a lot. I'm into a lot of different activities. So let me say, I've been to almost all 50 states, and I'm proud of myself.
Oh, nice.
So I take a lot of pictures, I do a lot of writing, and so it's kind of a goal of mine to kind of travel and just kind of learn about each state and the cities and how people live. Because you don't realize sometimes how drastic it is from living in Florida, Maryland, going to North Dakota, South Dakota, how different it is. So I really actually enjoyed my time, and I enjoyed journaling about those things. So that's something that I'm proud of. So that's what
What have you learned in your 2 episodes?
Actually, what have I learned?
You can say nothing.
No. I think
Just say.
what I've learned is something that I heard the two of you say too, is that you're public speaking. Actually, I don't mind rambling on. I don't have a problem with it. But it does help you kind of gather your thoughts a little bit better so that you can articulate yourself and people actually understand what you're saying. So I think that is something that even in my short time here, I have learned to kind of gather my thoughts a little bit better. And it doesn't make me, I'm not really that, I don't really get too nervous. But it is helpful. It is helpful. And it translates into work, and it will translate into other things. And so that's something that I've learned in my short period of time.
That's awesome.
Doing good.
Awesome.
Well,
so I think we're at the end of the episode. I don't have any last words. I do have to plug for the one last time. We're not going to be back till next year. We're going to be pumping out a lot of content next year. And I know I've been talking about merchandise. I promise you in 2020, merchandise is coming. We have our designer here. Hopefully he can actually get to work. Our so-called creative.
I don't do that. I don't do that anymore.
Did you hear him? He said, "I'm a creative person."
When I zone off, I zone off into that world. Like I can see something and just have an idea of, and my creativity is not just to like design stuff. It's to like business and how I can improve things. And I mean, I'm also a software developer, but it goes into that part too. So,
but again, I want to remind you guys, please don't forget to follow us, share on Instagram, on smiling_suffer. We're on Facebook, Smiling Suffer. We are on Twitter at SmilingPod. And next year, we're going to get ready to be putting out a lot of content, short clips. Please don't forget to.
We might vlog, man.
I think we should even do like a live episode one of these days.
Be in, the 3 of us are going to be in Morocco. So.
Woo!
We will probably have some stuff for the Instagram page, so check it out. We're gonna be in Morocco, so but This final song is called I Can't Kill Myself by Timaya. It's a nice chill record.
Before you play it, I mean, since we're going, so like, I mean, everyone has heard Yeti's story, they heard my little being jobless and everything, but like, just know that, you know, no matter what you're going through,
Yep.
you can always overcome it.
And
be
also,
it physical, spiritual, emotional, anything, you can actually get over it.
be kind to people because you never know what they're going through.
Be kind
Yeah.
through people, and you know, you actually only have one life. I mean, I didn't want to go into. I think I spoke a little about it, but I did have a deadly accident this year.
Yep.
And you know, I still have flashbacks of it, and it makes me just real. I came out unhurt. I mean, I was in pain, but it made me realize that in the blink of an eye, I could have gone.
Yep.
You know, and no one would have, like, that's it.
Yeah.
Out of my control.
Right.
My car's spinning. I have no control. I'm just praying nothing hits me and I flip off the bridge. But it could have happened. So, you know, live your life to the fullest. And
Happy holidays,
happy
people.
holidays,
Yeah.
man.
Merry Christmas,
Happy
yo.
New Year,
Merry
happy
Christmas.
Kwanzaa.
Fuck all that PC shit.
No,
Merry
no,
Christmas.
No. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, everything. Happy holidays.
This life I can't keep myself. I can't keep myself. I can't keep myself.